Alright, universe, let your abundance shower over me now. No, it didn't happen like that. Hey beautiful souls, I'm Zahra, a life coach and a nutritionist. And I help women break free from limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and start gaining clarity and purpose in their life. I get messages all the time from women who are just afraid to take that last leap of faith. They know what they want, they're sick of the life they've been living, they're done with it, but it takes one courageous leap of faith that they're just struggling to make, and they just feel stuck, and they're waiting for the situation to become easier, or maybe the other person to do this thing or say something else. They're just terrified. And I remember exactly how that feels. So today, this is my story of how I took that leap of faith. This all starts when I was working in a job that totally did not align with my values. I honestly did not have a clear conscience. For the longest time, not only did I feel stuck, I felt inauthentic. I personally held myself accountable for the negative impact that my job has on society. I'll share with you what my job was. It wasn't even the worst job. I was working in a general store and I was selling alcohol and other grocery items. But I had a real problem with contributing to the economy by taking part of that role to allow access of alcohol to people. Now, if you drink alcohol, I do not judge you as a person because you have free will. You can do what you want in your life. But it doesn't hold true with my values. And I'm not saying I'm a purist either. Trust me. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and I also have very destructive patterns in my life that some of them I've broken through, some of them I've not broken through, some of them I'm not even aware that they exist. I think it's really important to recognize that. For me, sharing this story is quite humbling because every day I would come home and feel like I've now just done an act of disservice to society. Basically, I felt guilty. I felt inauthentic. I felt like I had to put on a persona where I'm happy doing what I'm doing when I know that I wasn't happy. I had to put on this mask every single day. But you know, I wanted to leave. I didn't want to stay. What I valued was the safety. The leap was when I finally left that place. And I'll tell you something, it was not easy. I can tell you for months, I was internally tortured. And when I say internally tortured, this is not just mentally or emotionally. I physically was getting like gut issues and symptoms. This is really embarrassing to admit, but I would get the stress shits. I would work myself up into a panic and I would feel like there's nothing I can do to escape this and I'm forever stuck in that situation. And then when I thought about leaving, that knot in my stomach grew even tighter, and I started to think about all the negative things. What if I'm not able to sustain myself financially anymore? What if I fail at this business? What if I don't succeed? What if everyone laughs at me and thinks it's all a big joke? What if nobody believes me that I am actually serious about this passion in my life? What if people start leaving me because they don't want to support me? What if I disappoint people? What if people think that that's the wrong decision to make and they want to talk me out of it? There were so many questions that went through my mind, and I was stuck in analysis paralysis for months. So if you are in that position, trust me, I've been there. It can be so torturous. It can physically make you sick. I've definitely stressed myself into sickness before. I'm not gonna lie. We have that ability, fortunately and unfortunately. You know what the truth is? The truth is some things went better than I expected and other things went worse than I expected. So I'm gonna be real with you. This is exactly how it went. I left the job. I struggled mentally because suddenly I felt like I had no purpose. Suddenly I felt like all the responsibilities on me now. I felt intense pressure. I felt like I had to rush through every step, and I felt like this fear of homelessness was chasing me every day. You know what I mean? For months I felt this way. Some things went better than I expected. I was able to support myself, and I'm so grateful for the fact that I actually let myself take this risk, because I never would have known if I had stayed in that safe job. The safe job that brought me emotional unhappiness, dissatisfaction in my life, inauthenticity, and just self-doubt and questioning. I had to make a decision to embrace this new change and let go of this old fear pattern. And I'm here to share with you that it's possible for you as well. I'm not going to paint a picture for you that's unrealistic. I'm not going to say it's going to be fun and roses. But listen, if the pain of staying the same is not higher than the pain of changing, you're not going to change. I'll say it again. The pain of staying the same needs to be higher than the pain of changing, because either way there is going to be pain, there is going to be challenges, and there are going to be struggles. Which struggle struggle do you want to face? What struggle is worth it to you? Is it worth it really to stay stuck in where you are, feeling dissatisfied about yourself, struggling to trust yourself, always questioning yourself, feeling stuck like nothing's in your control? Or maybe you want to struggle with other things that you have to start trusting yourself again. You have to take a risk. You have to stand up for yourself. That's a struggle sometimes. You have to speak up for yourself. That's another struggle. It's a difficulty. Is that worth it to you to take that struggle? Because if it is, choose to do that and make an intentional choice. You're not stepping into heaven or paradise. You're stepping into an authentic version of you, because these struggles are going to shape you into a version of yourself that you can be proud of at the end of the day. Not someone who ends up being bitter and jaded and disappointed and full of sadness and grief and feeling like you had all these opportunities that you missed out on. The 3 things that I wish I knew. Fear does not vanish just because you take the leap. For a long time, I thought courage felt like, there's no fear at all. I was waiting for fear to go away. I was waiting for that time where I felt fully clear and fully confident and there was no fear. And I was like, that's what courage is, right? No. Oh, how naive I was. When you start to make decisions from your fear, you're only going to get closer to the fear situation. But if you start making decisions from the point of view of your future self, now you're talking about a trajectory in your life that you have not explored before. Now that's going to get you closer to not your fears, but to your ideal future self. Number 2, and this is so important because it's all about the maintenance of this change. This is all about the longevity and sustaining this change that you've made. Progress feels slow in the middle. I'm sorry to break it to you like this, but it's not going to be achievement day after day after day. You're going to feel like things are happening painfully slowly. You're going to feel frustrated, like, what? I finally made the decision. Why isn't everything flowing smoothly? It's gonna feel slow. In the early stages, I thought the results would be instant. Like, I've made the decision, I'm on this path now. All right, universe, let your abundance shower over me now. No, it didn't happen like that. When you plant a seed, you don't expect it to sprout up the next day. Have you seen those videos when the seeds are sprouting? And for days and days, nothing's happening above ground, but below ground, the roots are going deeper. The seed is opening up. The shell is peeling away. And this whole time, if you just kept on looking from the top, like, what's happening? I planted this seed like a week ago. I see nothing happening. And you start feeling frustrated. That's what's happening. You're building your foundations. You're building your roots. Things are not going to show on the outside, on the surface just yet. It's going to feel slow at first. So here's a way to get out of that. You start measuring progress based on the different things that you've been doing and not on the outcomes of those things. Like, let's say you did 5 new things today that were all in line with your vision. Even though 2 of those things, nobody else noticed, and then another one of those things, nothing's amounted to it, and maybe you might see the result from that later. And even if those actions feel inconsequential at first, but they're actually aligned actions, measure your progress through how many of those that you're taking and how hard it was to take each action, how much you had to struggle to break out of your old patterns. That's where the progress is. It's in these new patterns. You got to keep showing up anyway. Now, the 3rd thing that I wish I knew before I took the leap, and I'm still learning this lesson, okay, because I'm an obsessive planner. Your support system matters more than your plan. This has been such a hard truth to learn for me. Because I thought that if I just have the right plan, if I just measure out the steps that work, if I just write down every single thing that is going to get me there, and if I followed that plan diligently, that's what success means. And I've done that. I've obsessively planned, tweaked, managed, micromanaged for months and months and months and months. And all I see is burnout because my support system was not there with me. Who's your support system? It could be your friends, it could be your family, maybe you've got a coach, maybe you've got several coaches like me. I need coaches and mentors and people that I need to look for advice, and other people who are way more successful than me, and I need to ask them, like, what do I do? It's not even about asking the right questions, even just surrounding yourself with people who are in that mindset. It's so inspiring because it starts to come naturally through you as well. I mean, think about it. The mirror neurons that exist in our mind. If you're talking to someone who has such a negative attitude and all they focus on is how things are going wrong, guess what you're going to start doing too? in your life. So I really want you to take this lesson home with you, because I did not know this, and I really wish I did, because I wasted so much of my time just in that obsessive planning stage. And now that I have that support system, every time I have any twinge of self-doubt or anything that I feel confused about, I know exactly who to call, where to go, and have that clarity and that certainty, because I feel supported. I don't suddenly feel on my own and I have to figure it all out on my own, and the steps have to be exactly the right perfect steps, and I have to follow the steps exactly the way they are. No, the pressure comes off. So if you're about to take the first step, know this: you will never be 100% ready, and that's okay. You don't have to be. The fear is telling you that this is something that you haven't done before. It's actually a good thing that you're getting fear. It's a confirmation that you're not continuing the same pattern over and over. Take that as a sign. Use it as an excitement. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith, because you probably regret not taking it and staying where you are than actually taking it. I know I did. If you're at the edge of a swimming pool and you're too busy thinking about taking the right lessons and having the right floaties and looking at other people who are swimming, and you're too busy standing on the edge of the swimming pool, you're not going to learn to swim this way. You're going to learn to swim when you take that leap, jump in, and actually practice and apply those learnings that you learned. You can spend so long in that phase of just trying to absorb everything and ask everyone. Until you take action, you're not going to make progress and see the results that you really want to see. So don't let perfect keep you waiting. Start with where you are, however you are, and trust that you'll figure out the rest of the way. You don't have to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Just take the first step. So if you're ready to take the first step and self-doubt is still holding you back, I have a 4-week intensive that I'm taking 5 women through at this stage who are courageous enough to start discovering what truly matters to them, have those mindset shifts live, and start making a plan for the future and the life that they crave. Click the link in the description and let's get our journey started. Grab your spot before doubt wins. I'll see you in the next one.